Not every action movie ends up being a blockbuster, but sometimes a film's big moments and star-studded cast can give it a second shot, especially on streaming services. Take The Cold Light of Day, for instance. This action thriller features Henry Cavill, who's just a step away from being Superman, along with Bruce Willis and Sigourney Weaver. Despite sitting at a rough 4% on Rotten Tomatoes, it's getting a bit of a revival on Free. So let's dive into what we know about The Cold Light of Day 2 with Henry Cavill. Originally released in 2012, The Cold Light of Day follows Henry Cavill's character, Willis, a young guy on vacation in Spain who gets tangled up in a dangerous conspiracy after his family gets kidnapped. This action thriller is loaded with gunfights, car chases, and high-stakes espionage. At the time, Cavill was just about to hit it big with Man of Steel, and he plays the reluctant hero, while Bruce Willis brings his signature tough guy vibe as Will's dad. Despite the star-studded cast, the movie flopped with critics, landing a dismal 4% on Rotten Tomatoes. Reviewers slammed the weak plot, cheesy dialogue, and lack of character development. The New York Times even called it a thoroughly incompetent Bourne movie imitation. Still, for fans who love some mindless action, The Cold Light of Day delivers plenty of explosions and suspense, making it a guilty pleasure for some. The film's story kicks off with Willis, a consultant from San Francisco, who's on the verge of bankruptcy. He reluctantly decides to join his family in Spain for a holiday, where he reunites with his dad Martin, a government advisor with whom he has a rocky relationship. Will's preoccupation with his phone leads to a sailing accident. He jumps in to save his brother's girlfriend, Dara, from getting hit by the yacht's boom, but she accidentally smacks her head on a winch. In a fit of frustration, Martin throws Will's phone into the ocean. Will then swims to town to grab medical supplies and cool off. When he returns, the yacht has vanished, along with his family. In a panic, he goes to the police, who point him toward Zahir, a guy who seems to know what's going on. Sensing something's off, Will tries to make a run for it in a police car, but Martin shows up and helps him out by taking down the officers. It turns out Martin is a CIA agent, and the people who took their family are after a briefcase he had on a mission. Martin meets with a CIA boss, Jean Carrick, in Madrid, who claims she doesn't have the briefcase anymore, but Martin knows she's lying. Things take a dark turn when Gorman, a sniper, kills Martin. Will grabs his dad's phone just as Gorman starts shooting at him, prompting a tense chase. The kidnappers call Will, wanting to talk to Tom, and give him a 21-hour deadline to exchange the briefcase for his family. With no support from the U.S. Embassy, Will is picked up by Carrick outside, but quickly realizes she's not trustworthy. He pretends to be sick, which disgusts her enough to pull over, allowing him to escape. Desperate, Will sets up a meeting with his dad's friend, Diego, where he meets Diego's niece, Luia. After fighting off one of Carrick's goons, they head to Diego's apartment, only to find he's been killed by Carrick and Gorman. The duo makes a narrow escape across rooftops, but will get shot. Luia takes him to a nightclub, where a friend helps patch him up. She reveals that Tom is Martin's alias in Spain and that she's actually Will's half-sister. As Will reaches the meeting point, he's grabbed by the kidnappers, who turn out to be Israeli Mossad agents led by Zahir. They were using the briefcase to catch a traitor, and when Martin stole it from them, they ended up kidnapping Will's family. Zahir lets Will go after a brief glimpse of his family. Will meets up with Luia again, and they start running up a tab on Carrick's credit card at the nightclub. Things get messy when Gorman shows up, gets tortured for information, but refuses to talk. Will lets him escape, hoping he'll lead them to Carrick, who's trying to sell the briefcase in an underground parking lot. The situation escalates as Will hears men surrounding them, forcing Carrick and Gorman to open fire on their buyers. During the chaos, Luia takes out Gorman in a car crash, which infuriates Carrick as she makes her escape. Will and Luia chase after Carrick through Madrid, where she causes mayhem left and right. Eventually, their cars collide, leaving Luia badly hurt. Just as Carrick is about to take out Will, Zahir swoops in, kills her, retrieves the briefcase, and releases Will's family. In the end, Luia recovers in the hospital, and Will gazes at his new extended family. He's offered a job with the CIA, but it's left open-ended whether he accepts it or not. Now that we've recapped the original film, let's discuss what a sequel could do differently. or if we might see a reboot with a fresh cast instead. The original had its flaws, but there's potential for some exciting new twists and storylines if the right creative team gets involved. One of the major criticisms of The Cold Light of Day was its lack of character depth. A sequel could focus on fleshing out the characters, particularly Will and Luya. Exploring their backgrounds and motivations could create a more engaging narrative and allow viewers to connect with them on a deeper level. The original film featured a pretty standard kidnapping plot. A sequel could introduce a more complex antagonist or a multi-layered conspiracy that tests Will and Luya in different ways. Perhaps they could face off against a new organization or uncover a deeper web of deceit connected to their family's past. With the world evolving, a sequel could touch on current issues such as cyber threats, surveillance, and the ethical dilemmas of espionage. By grounding the story in real-world concerns, the film could resonate more with audiences. The strained relationship between Will and his father was central to the original story. A sequel could explore the aftermath of Martin's death, delving into Will's emotional journey as he grapples with his father's legacy and his new role as a protector of his family. If the filmmakers decide to go for a reboot instead of a sequel, they could cast a fresh lineup of actors to reinvigorate the franchise. This could be an opportunity to introduce new dynamics and perspectives, making the story feel relevant for a new generation of viewers. There's also the possibility of exploring a prequel that delves into Martin Shaw's early career in the CIA. This could provide insight into his character, his decisions, and how he got entangled in the dangerous world that ultimately affected his family. Exploring the origins of the briefcase and its significance could add layers to the narrative. If a prequel for The Cold Light of Day were to happen, casting the right actors would be crucial to capturing the essence of the original characters while also bringing fresh talent to the table. For a young Martin Shaw, a charismatic and intense actor like John Boyega could fit the bill perfectly. His ability to convey a sense of urgency and depth would resonate well with Martin's backstory as a CIA operative navigating the murky waters of espionage. Similarly, casting a younger version of Will Shaw could be done with someone like Noah Jupe, whose performances in films like A Quiet Place showcase a blend of vulnerability and resilience that would align well with Will's character arc. For the role of a younger Jean Carrick, perhaps an actress like Florence Pugh would bring a compelling mix of strength and complexity. Pugh's talent for portraying multifaceted characters would allow her to embody the morally ambiguous nature of Carrick as she balances her loyalties within the CIA. Additionally, introducing a new antagonist for the prequel could open doors for actors like Timothée Chalamet or Anya Taylor-Joy, both of whom excel at portraying intriguing and layered characters. Their involvement could add an exciting dynamic to the story, offering viewers a glimpse into the tangled relationships that shaped Martin and Will's lives. And that's that for today's video. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next one.